Shannon, if you'll go into presentation mode. Hello and welcome to our webinar. We're excited to have you all joining us today. We've got a great set of panelists that we're excited to share their expertise on the best practices of connecting career to your students. Welcome back to the new calendar year and second half of the academic year. Today's webinar will be all around those best practices of connecting career to students. And we've got some experts in the space that we want to make sure that you all hear from. As our friends are joining us in today's webinar, we just got a little bit of housekeeping to remind everyone. During the presentation, feel free to use the chat box to communicate directly with the panelists. And then if you have questions for the content, please put that in the Q&A box that you'll see at the bottom of your screen. We will be monitoring that to either answer typed or live questions. So we want to continue to engage with you. We see your names. We know that y'all are here to get some great information, which we are excited to share with you. To get us started, I have a poll question as our friends are joining us today to kind of get our mind right, thinking about connecting to career. The question is, where can students and educators find a tableau to help Mississippians explore a wide ranges of careers available across the state? So let me launch the poll. All right, you should see it on your screen as everyone is joining us. There are a poll question here for you to kind of get acclimated and aware of what are the different resources around connecting students to career across the state of Mississippi. All right, give everybody a few more seconds to answer. If you want to throw your thoughts on the poll, and we'll close it in about 5 more seconds. Okay. All right, so the majority said the Get to College website. We've got about 25% Accelerate Mississippi website, and then about 14% Mississippi Council, Economics Council website. So the correct answer here is the Get to College website. While the Mississippi Economics Council website has a lot of great resources in connecting to a variety, they're kind of like this. They're the state's what are the words I'm looking for? Business kind of connectivity there. And Accelerate Mississippi is the state's workforce. Get to College recently launched a tableau with data from Ithaca S&R Research that pulled a whole bunch of employment security information and compiled it with education requirements as well as the future of jobs, essentially like growth, demand, and income. And so I'm going to share really quickly what that looks like. If you haven't seen it, we want to make sure we kind of start today by showing you all what that looks like. And so this is on the Get to College's website. If you'll go underneath students, under plan a career, this page has connectivity to a variety of different resources, such as ONET's career interest indicator, which we'll hear about kind of career interest surveys a lot today, and connecting to Mississippi specific careers. This was something that we wanted to highlight. We know that there's a lot of national research there and a lot of national resources, but one thing that we've heard over and over from students in Mississippi and college and career readiness teachers in Mississippi, as well as career coaches, is Mississippi students want to know what there is in Mississippi. And so this is what is there. This has over 500 Mississippi specific careers. And if you want an overview of this resource, there's a link there that I give you an overview of kind of how to navigate it. But the quick and dirty resource here is that it lands on, we define family sustaining income as based off of the ALICE living wage, which was determined by Mississippi's United Ways. And so we set the threshold here as a living wage, but you can see that you can change that and it will adapt which of the careers are shown here if you want to change it. But it defaults to that $33,540 as the living wage. And then based off of those parameters, these are the different careers. You can sort at the bottom. So this is in-demand rank. So this is the jobs that have over the next 10 years some in-demand job openings, as well as the growth outcomes. So it's a combination of number of job openings and the projected growth outcome here. But each one links to ONET. So if your students have no idea what a nurse practitioner is, they can click on it. It will pull up the ONET information on that career. It also has the Mississippi specific statewide average annual wages that openings, as well as the growth, and then what years of education. So you can change the sorting of the overall here, but you could actually drill down a little bit more based off of the industry specifics, or if you're looking for a specific region. So today we've got a lot of speakers from North Mississippi area. So if you want to change it to be a North Mississippi region, you can see it adapts there. If you want to do specific by career cluster, or if you have students that know they have a certain education that they want to achieve or don't want to go beyond, or whatever those parameters are, these are all available here. So we wanted to share that with y'all as we kind of get into today's presentation. And I'm going to hand it back over to Shannon to introduce our speakers, as well as the background for the content for today's presentation.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. I'm Shannon Grimsley, the Assistant Director of Training and Counselor Outreach for the Woodward Hines Education Foundation and the Get to College program. We are recording today's session, and we will send a link to anyone who is registered. For those watching today's recording, our date is January 17th, 2023, and the material in this webinar is current through the 22-23 school year. In today's session, Best Practices to Connecting Careers to Students, you will hear from a panel of career coaches who will share with you some of the best practices that have worked for them in their positions as career coaches in the local high schools. I'll now share a little background on Get to College and a few logistics about the webinar before we get started. Get to College is a nonprofit program of the Woodward Hines Education Foundation. We have 3 centers in Mississippi, one in Jackson, Ocean Springs, and South Haven, and we help parents, students, and high school counselors with all aspects of college planning and financial aid. And all of our services are 100% completely free. In our centers, we offer personalized college counseling appointments where we can help students know when to apply for admission and scholarship, help fill out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, or advise on essay writing and interviewing. As we mentioned earlier during the webinar, we cannot see or hear you, but we ask that you ask us questions through instant messenger or the chat at any time. My co-host Kirsten Dufour will be monitoring or replying to the Q&A today, and we will have time hopefully for a live Q&A with the presenters at the end. But again, feel free to message your questions at any time. I would now like to introduce our guest speakers for the day. Our first speaker is Rebecca Lewis. Rebecca is a graduate of Blue Mountain College, where she also earned her national board certification and completed her master's in English education from the University of North Alabama. After teaching for 28 years, she retired and worked for an educational services program and ran independent home decor business until she began her new position as a career coach with the Skills Foundation in January of 2021. Before joining the Three Rivers Coaches in October of 22. Having worked with students since 1990, she is fervent about helping young people find their passions and pursue them, which made career coaching a perfect fit. She has often commented that she loves her position so much that she feels a bit guilty about getting paid to do it. Rebecca has been married to her high school sweetheart for 37 years, has 2 sons, Taylor and Connor, and has one perfect grandchild. We know, of course, that grandchild's perfect, Emery June. And in her spare time, she volunteers at several ministries at her church, flips houses, and decorates homes for anyone who will let her. Our next speaker is Taylor Johnson. Taylor is the career coach at Corinth High School and Biggersville High School for the Alcorn School District. She began her career coach journey in February 2021 under the governor's grant through the Skills Foundation. Taylor previously served as the MIBEST coordinator at Northeast Mississippi Community College under the Workforce Adult Education Division for 5 years. Her passion is helping our youth thrive outside of school, whether that be pursuing a career after high school, enrolling in a trade program, enlisting in the military, or applying to a 4-year college. Taylor absolutely loves helping students find their passion. A graduate of Mississippi State University with a Bachelor of Science in 2013, Taylor is also married to her college sweetheart, Evan Johnson, and together they have 2 beautiful daughters, Marley and Eden, and they are expecting their 3rd child in June. In her spare time, she enjoys being outdoors and watching Mississippi State athletics. Our 3rd speaker is Casey Atkins. Career coach Casey Atkins will quickly tell you that there's no such thing as a typical path to success. After starting out as a paralegal, Casey worked for many years in outside sales. 20 years after earning her Associate of Science degree, she went back to school and earned her bachelor's online through Ole Miss, all while being a mom to 3 children. She now has 4 children. Speaking of a non-typical approach, her degree is in general studies with 3 minors: psychology, education, and legal studies. Casey works closely with each student, providing guidance to them to put them on a solid pathway to success. She believes in identifying students' unique skills and goals and then matching them with the training and employment opportunities that best suits each individual. Casey says she is excited about being a career coach because she knows she is guiding students towards a bright future. I am very thankful to be in a position where I can make a difference in students' lives, just as others have made a difference in mine. Our last speaker is Tiffany Johnson. Tiffany serves as the career coach at Columbus High School in Columbus, Mississippi. Tiffany was previously employed with Enterprise Rent-A-Car as a branch manager. She was trained on how to run her own business, along with managing and develop employees to provide a high level of customer service. While employed there at Enterprise, she was able to get out into the community and connect with many people in all aspects of life, whether it was business or personal. She is a member of the Education Committee with Columbus Lowndes County Chamber of Commerce. This committee recognizes K-12 educators and high-achieving students in the area. Tiffany is also a self-proclaimed girl mom. Her daughters have cheered, played sports, and one is still currently on a dance competition team. So she finds that she is traveling quite often. Tiffany states, "I became a career coach simply because of my desire to help students become successful in the paths they choose after high school. I want to make sure that our students are aware of basic life skills along with job attainment, college and career readiness. I help students to identify their personal goals, develop leadership skills, and find employment in today's workforce by helping with resumes, interview skills, or simply applying for college." Tiffany is a graduate of Mississippi State University, where she obtained her bachelor's degree in business administration with a major in marketing. So thank you, ladies, for being here today. I will say I have worked very closely over the last 2 years with these 4 ladies, and you will not find 4 people they have so much passion for what we're doing in the state through the Career Coach Initiative. So we're glad to have y'all today to share your expertise. So I'm going to turn this over to you now, ladies.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Can you hear?
Okay.
Okay, good.
We're going to be honest. The 3 of us are actually at a job fair right now. So we found a nice little spot to come talk to y'all. So if something seems off, it's probably our fault. But anyway, so we're excited to share some of our best practices with y'all. We're all just going to kind of have basically a conversation about the different best practices with y'all. So if you have questions, kind of pop in the chat, and I think, yeah, so we can keep this interactive. But we've all tried different things. We all still do a lot of different techniques that works, what works for me at Kossuth may not work at Alcorn Central or may not work at Corinth, and vice versa. And Tiffany has a lot of really awesome practices that she's going to share as well. So we just want to kind of keep it real with y'all. And we thought that having a conversation and sharing these techniques would be the best way. So we are ready for that first slide. You want to start us?
Well, career coaching, our focus, as you see, is exposing, preparing, and connecting our students to opportunities that will help them pursue their passion. There are so many different things that fall under each of those headings. And so we've kind of broken those down for you. And we'll start first with the exposed piece. So the next slide.
So with Exposed, the top 3 things that we typically use in the classroom is U-Science assessment, the Major Clarity, which is rather new to us, and then Imagine the Possibilities Career Expo. U-Science and Major Clarity are career-based assessments. However, they are extremely different. U-Science takes the students' aptitudes as well as their interest, whereas Major Clarity is a lot of learning styles and interests, and they update that every year. And then Imagine the Possibilities. Some of you may remember when we used to go to the Cadence Bank Arena, now used to be the Bancorp South Center. And we set up for about 2 to 3 days. We had a lot of different business and industry come in, bring really big and cool equipment, and the students had a very hands-on experience. And then of course, 2020, COVID hit. So we had to come up with a way, Create had to come up with a way to continue to expose these students to different career pathways. And they worked really hard, and I can't imagine how long it took them to work on this, but they created a website for a virtual career expo. So the next couple of slides, we're going to kind of dig deeper. We have a video to show you for U-Science, and we'll do that next.
Video not playing. Yeah.
So there's supposed to be a video embedded here, Taylor.
Yeah, if you move the mouse over a Rubik's Cube it's not playing.
I don't see anything embedded, no.
It's okay.
Would it show like a link or something here?
It might in the note section. I don't know. I copied it to the slide. If not, we can send that out.
Okay.
we
Let's
can
do
send
that.
It's just like a 1 to 2 minutes. But
I was
basically,
able to pull it up. I'll screen share really quickly, Shannon. Give me 1 second.
Perfect.
I found it on YouTube.
Yay. You have to love YouTube.
yes. It's not very long. I just thought it'd be better for everyone to see it rather than me try to explain it with my country talk.
Wish me luck. Grammarly has again been a lifesaver with my application.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Now everyone answers. No, I'm just
That question can feel overwhelming with so many choices out there. But you have talents that aren't just juggling or singing. Maybe you visualize 3D objects easily or recall random facts on a whim. These talents play into real careers, and U-Science will show you how. U-Science helps you discover your aptitudes, a fancy word for your natural talents, by using brain games to unlock how your mind is wired. Understanding what your interests are and connecting you to careers that are meant for you. U-Science creates a roadmap to your future so you can unlock your next level achievements and earn real-world credentials along the way. So next time someone asks about your future, you can answer with confidence. Start your journey with U-Science and discover what's next.
So one thing I really like about U-Science, I'm sorry,
That's
is
okay.
the positivity of it. So did you want to share?
So, yeah, and I think we can each talk about what we do with our students at our own schools, but I know for Corinth, I was able to go in last school year and offer it. There is a snapshot version of U-Science that we offer to our 8th graders. So I think it's really important getting started at a lower level, not necessarily freshman, sophomore year. We do work. It is, the full assessment is primarily, we offer it to our sophomores, I do. But the snapshot for 8th graders is really good. You might even be able to bump it down to 7th graders, but with U-Science, you've got access to your account for several years, actually, because your interests may change, and that's okay, but your aptitude and what your natural gifts are, that's really not going to change. So that's what I like about it the most, is the aptitude portion, really.
Yes.
So I think that's really good.
I think
There-
something that's been challenging, we'll have to say, U-Science is a 90-minute assessment. So that's one thing that once the students get started, they are excited about it. But once they kind of get into it, because basically they're playing brain games. The brain games do start out easy and they do get challenging at the end. So I've been finding it difficult to keep them motivated and keep them encouraged to actually complete the assessment. Now, once they do get it finished, it shows everything. It shows basically, like the video said, 6 talents that they are, that tells them about themselves. It also gives them several different careers. Based on how they played those games, it shows the careers that they will be a good fit at. One thing that I do before I start my assessment, we were given some image decks. I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with it, but it's just different pictures, different things, different images. And I put the image deck, I put the pictures all around for the students, and I have them to pick something that might correlate with them as far as what they would like to do after they graduate. And that kind of helps us to kind of start up a conversation before we even get into assessment. I find that that is very helpful for me. I also have a book that I have want the students to get to read, and it's actually like maybe on a 2nd or 3rd grade level, but I have a student to come up and read that book. It's called I Am Every Good Thing. I'm sorry. And basically the student gets up and reads the story to the rest of the students. And that also gets them interested, or either just kind of gets their mind kind of like thinking about, okay, what is it that I want to do? Or, this is what I would like to do. And I can basically do anything that that I put my mind to. So I think the assessment in general is really good. It also gives us, gives the students descriptions of themselves. So in an interview, I used to do a lot of interviews when I was at Enterprise, but during the interview process, I know one of the first questions someone might ask is, tell me about yourself. So the U-Science also gives the students descriptions about themselves that they can readily go ahead and, say, this is how I am, and I'm this type of thinker, that type of person. So I think it's a very good assessment. It's just kind of hard kind of getting the students bought into finishing, completing that 90-minute assessment. Are you all having that trouble as well?
I will say this, that when I did this snapshot with the 8th graders, we took a couple of days to do it. We went in, we already had everyone set up. They took the assessment, and then the following day we went over the assessment. But now in high school, that took a couple of days as well. I think if you try to spread it out just a little bit, then that might help and break it up, because some of those sessions are between 7 and 10 minutes that you need to be in a quiet, focused area. It's not going to do the student or you any good if you're blowing through it and you're not taking your time, because it's for them. There is no right or wrong. So I try to preface it with that. I love the idea of the image deck. Shannon and Kirsten, this is what we do all day. We just bounce ideas off of one another.
We do.
That's one of the reasons
Yeah.
why I love this job so much, is because of the networking that we're
Yeah.
able to do together.
Yes.
But I love the idea of the image deck, and I've got one, and
It works really well. I was always trying to figure out how can I incorporate that, but it works really good. And then Donna McCullough, she's the one that gave me the I Am Every Good Thing book. And it first started out where it's a very easy read, but I think it gets my kids motivated and gets them, at least gets them listening to everything. And then, like I said, get their minds kind of rolling on what it is that I can do, and I can do everything.
Well, I know our participants are really enjoying the candid conversation idea sharing. That's part of why they've joined. There are some questions that are pertinent to this topic that have come up. The first one is explain what you know about the cost of youth science, and then how that's handled. Is it school by school, district by classroom, kind of the administrative piece? And then another question is, how can youth science be used more so in like a classroom setting that maybe doesn't have a career coach, or if there's other career coaches, how can they implement it into making it and bring it into more of a classroom?
As far as the cost goes, we actually were awarded youth science through I think the Skills Foundation is actually who paid for that. I want to say there might be some discounts with larger grants, like larger groups. But as far as the exact cost, I don't have that.
It comes through the administrative
Yeah.
office, and it depends on the numbers of students that will be actually have allowed access to it. And I don't know that there is a number per student. Because we haven't seen those numbers, we aren't involved in the financial part of it. But I do know, I want to say our district is maybe $2,000 a year, something like that is a good ballpark for our district. So if that helps.
And as far as using youth science in the classroom, a lot of our classroom teachers have the students complete the assessment for different reasons, whether it be college and career readiness class, English classes. Like I said, it's a very positive tool, because once you log in, once you complete those brain games, you can download a 36 to 37 page report on yourself. Students utilize that in applying for scholarships, writing essays for their scholarships, doing their resume, job interviews, like they said. There's a lot of different ways to utilize youth science, and we do a lot of different activities. One thing I did at the beginning of the year is when some of my seniors completed it, I put up their names around the room, and I let their classmates kind of decide who went with what description. So like I would put one or two things like a planning organizer, or I can't even think of all the different things.
Yes.
Just the different descriptions that come with it. And it just, future thinker, stuff like that. And so I let them, which it was a small class, I let them go around and try to decide who went with what description. And it was really fun because they got to know one another, but they also learned a lot about themselves. Mine is a numerical thinker. I'm just going to be honest, I'm not a math person. I hate math. I've always hated math. And when Donna McCullough came and did that activity with my kids, she was like, Taylor is a numerical thinker. She does really well with numbers. And I was like, it just makes you, it lets you see things about yourself that you didn't even know. And then it starts making sense. So there's a lot of positive things that youth science can be used in the classroom with, and we're happy to share those with you.
And the other thing is, like Casey was saying, it can be broken into several segments actually, because I think there are 11 brain games, and they range anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes to 15 minutes. And so you might use one of them one day as a bell ringer, or if you have your students finish class early, and if the lesson ends, you can have them finish one. They have to finish that one brain game at that sitting, but once they finish that, the results are saved, and they can just wait and move on, the next day or two, whenever. And that would take longer, of course, but it would help you potentially in a classroom, fill some time if you have a little dead, downtime.
And Tiffany, the next question that has come up is specific to what you referenced in that image deck. You mentioned that you use it as like kind of an engagement piece with your students. Can you expand a little bit more on where did you get it, and a little bit more on how it's used with your students?
Actually, we all received the image decks from Create Foundation, basically when we first got started. And with that being said, I think it's the back of it says goinnovation.com. I don't remember the gentleman's name that we used to.
Rory Tyler.
Okay, who Tyler?
Rory
okay.
Tyler.
Okay. Well, yes, he would come down with us, and that was just something through the Create Foundation. But it's an awesome deck. Like the students can pick. It's several different images. Nothing that has anything directly to do with their pathways after graduation. But once they pick something, they can kind of, and they basically, they do a really good job coming up with an idea of, I'm trying to think of one real quick if I can see something, but even if they pick this one right here, even though this is a picture of someone that's graduating and celebrating, they are, they'll go into the story of basically everything that they need to do to get to this point, because like if they've had some struggles and everything throughout their whole school career, they can't wait till this day comes when they are happy and excited about graduation. And then, they might be able to pick something where there might be an image of someone praying, and that's where, they can go into they've been trying to pray their way through school from beginning to end. So they come up with some really neat ideas. So it gets them to think more, it gets the students around them to think more. And actually sometimes we actually go in, I can just give them any type of question and we can put those decks down, put the images down, and then they can choose that. It's a really good conversation starter.
Mm-hmm. And we've even used them in our meetings when Roy would come in. That's how we would start our meetings, is how are you feeling today? Pick a photo, an image of how you're feeling today that describes that. And so even for PD or something, that would, if you could get a hold of some of those or anything familiar, that would be something really good to, like Tiffany said, start a conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think we can go on to major clarity and then answer more questions. That way we can get through everything. So the next piece is the major clarity. This is something that we just recently started this school year. Our districts were awarded major clarity for up to 3 years. And it actually goes down to 7th grade. We were talking about doing the snapshot, but we start with major clarity in our 7th grade classes all the way through senior year. They update their portfolio each year because, like we said earlier, our interests might change each year, whereas our aptitudes don't always change. So our students go in, they complete a personality assessment. Very simple, yes or no questions. If you'd be interested in selling restaurant locations, real estate, stuff like that, they just answer those questions honestly. And then they take a learning styles assessment where they answer questions that, the best way that they learn, whether that be visual, audio, and they answer so many questions and it gives them these results. We have different videos. One thing about major clarity that's really awesome is the resources that come with it. Lesson plans, pacing guides, videos, PowerPoint slides. There's a lot that I feel like we still haven't even had an opportunity to learn, but we've just kind of dug in and went head first with it. And so our students create their portfolios. They create career plans where, as far as the tabs you see on the left-hand side, they go through and just kind of jot down like a journal what it is they're interested in. They insert their test scores, stuff like that. It works really well with the ISPs that we have to have. And so what is the individual student plan? Yes. And so, and we can sign off on that. And so that kind of checks a box for the district as well. But this also links them to different careers. And so they can explore those careers. One thing I really like about that is there are different activities. Once they click on those careers, they can go in and they can see, kind of like the Get to College tableau that they pulled up earlier. They can see the different careers that are within each cluster. They can see how much money each career would make, how much schooling they'll have to, be involved in, the job growth, what someone in Northeast Mississippi would make versus another state. And then there's activities they can do within that. There's interviews they can watch with people within that career. Just a lot of kind of like a one-stop shop almost. Yes. And so this is a lot like UScience. This is something students can go into every single day and do a different activity or click on a different career. We've even created scavenger hunts to kind of go in and find different things, kind of like we did at the career coach training a couple months ago with the Get to College website. But this is a more, as far as Tiffany was talking about, and we were talking about the 90 minutes, this does not take as long. So it's easier to get those students to complete the assessment when we're in the classroom and then to sit down and explore with that.
This was a really major clarity, and I love UScience, and I am more familiar with UScience since major clarity is new. I did major clarity with our sophomores this year, but I did hold an event in November for all of our seniors. And for those seniors, there were several who had not completed an assessment. And so this was my go-to
Mhm.
because those seniors needed their resumes and they're be surprised how many seniors did not have their
Mhm.
resume. So this was kind of my go-to for that because it was, they could do the assessment and then there is a place for their resume building and it puts it all together for you. So that was nice and handy.
And as far as the purchase price on that, I believe the state has purchased that for every school district.
Mhm.
Some school districts, I believe, is that not true? Not
No.
true? Okay.
So it is available. It was available through Mississippi Department of Education, but only for school districts that completed an application process. So not every school district was able to do that. So there's only some school districts in the state have access to it, and it's from COVID funds that they paid for it for 3 years. So after the 3-year funding from MDE, if your district got that, then the district is then responsible for independent funding for it, whether that's through their own budget or additional funds. So not every district in the state, unfortunately, has it. Some do, and then some don't.
I knew that some had not completed the application, but I thought basically if they, that they might want to check with their administration to see if they, their district had purchased it.
Mhm. Another thing that's really awesome, as you can see, there's actually a resume builder on here, so it helps them to put in their information. And then the work-based learning, once I think everyone, including the community, gets on board, we will be able to upload internships that are open and our students will be able to go to that tab and look. And again, this is still so new. I'm hoping maybe next year we'll have more things going with this, but we're really excited about it. Again, it checks a lot of boxes for not only us, but for our district. But it's just, like I said, a one-stop shop where we can get a lot of things covered and the students have a lot of access to different opportunities through it. So next slide, please. It's okay. It's okay. There is a video, I think, on here. I don't know if it'll play. Maybe not. If not, it's okay. We can talk through it. So imagine the Possibilities Career Expo. If you really want to kind of get your hands on this is what I was talking about, where we used to go to the Bancorp South Arena, the Cadence Bank Arena, and set up for a couple of days and let the students, it originally started as 8th graders, then it moved to 10th graders, but they made this a virtual career expo. This covers all the 16 career pathways. It has all these different videos that students can log in and watch, ranging from 5 minutes, and even some mentor 4 minutes, 1 minute, a full minute. And 10th graders earn points through watching those videos. And 10th graders can win Apple products through watching those videos. And so one thing, for example, we have all recruited people to do these videos. My sister's a radiology tech, and so she has a mentor for a minute where she just briefly talks about for 1 minute what she does throughout a day, where she went to school, stuff like that. My encouragement is these kids are already watching TikTok all the time. Let's be real. So there's nothing wrong. I mean, they can win Apple products. Miss Lewis had someone win a MacBook. One of my students won an iPad, AirPods. Tiffany, I don't know what
I had a MacBook and Apple earbuds.
Yes, and these are their products. This doesn't go through the school. This is something they get to take home through watching these videos. I did say the 10th graders are the only ones that earn points. However, this is open to all students. We have a lot of teachers that ranging from 9th to 12th grade that have their students create accounts and get on there and watch this because they are able to learn about the different careers in Northeast Mississippi. So this has been a really big exposure piece. We're still really trying to build that out. And so I believe the website is itpcareerexpo.com.
Yes, that's it. Correct.
And so check that out. I highly encourage you, especially your sophomores. The competition doesn't end until the end of February. So they still have time to create those accounts and build those points up. But this has been really great because a lot of students, one I always think of is Luke Price. He's a young man that is an entrepreneur here in Corinth, Mississippi. He used to make YouTube videos in high school and get in trouble for doing so. And he just posted a new video where he's just expanded his studio and he's just got a bigger space, and he is phenomenal. He's very talented. He does weddings, he does videography, photography. He has a lot of things going on along with vlogging. So I would definitely check out the ITP website. So
I was able to find the video. Did you want me to still play it or are y'all good?
we're
we're good.
time
Got it.
Yeah.
constraints.
Yeah, we
probably
can send
not.
that out if we want, like in the chat, if you want to do that.
I
So
was
get
gonna
with-
chime in real quick, and you all correct me if I'm not saying this correctly. But as far as with the 10th graders, all 10th graders or all students can actually go into the site just to explore these 18 career pathways. But I know for the prizes, it's possible that it might be the create counties. Is that correct? Or is it for the state?
I think it's across, I don't know if it's just because, we get that printout. I wish I had it with me.
I didn't
Where
have
it
it with
shows
me.
the different schools that create accounts, but I
Okay,
believe
okay.
that everyone.
Everyone
I'll
within
check
the,
that to make sure.
Right.
Yeah.
okay.
We'll check that. We'll double check that. And it may just be the Northeast area.
It could be, I'm not sure. I just didn't want it to, I wasn't sure. I don't have it in front of me either, but I was gonna ask, is it for,
That's a good
you know,
question.
That
Yeah.
was the question that we have in the chat is, are the prizes open to all students Mississippi or only in the Create Foundation area? So
I'll pull those schools up. We get a printout every month. So I'll pull those up and send those so y'all can send it to the viewers.
okay, great.
Thank you for asking that. All right, we're ready. All right, Yona. I feel like I'm talking
Okay,
a lot.
Casey, you go.
You doing good.
So I'll take, are we covering
Yeah,
all of these?
Prepare.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
just, I
and
mean,
just
not,
hit
we don't
some
have
of
time
yours.
for all of them, but just
Okay.
do your snack chat.
Yeah.
Okay, so snack chat is what we came up with last school year. And that is basic. At first, we were just doing recorded Zoom sessions when I got it to record.
Mhm.
But when the doors reopened after COVID, we were able to invite guest speakers to come in. And so what the goal is to cover all of the career pathways and try to find, sorry guys, I've got this stuff going on, but is to try to find people in your local community who can come in and speak to students about what they do. What is a day in the life like for a radiographer or, a doctor, a lawyer, or someone who is in construction, just what have you. But we try to cover all of the pathways, and it's typically held on a certain day of the week at Corinth. We generally have it on Wednesdays, and they come in for a few hours and it's a repeat session that they have with our students. And it's been really good, a good way for me to get to know the students better and what they want to do, because they've got to fill in a sign-in sheet, their grade level, if they're interested in job shadowing, or what do they want to pursue post high school. Do they want to go straight to college? Do they want to go into workforce? Do they want to go into the military? So from that, I'm able to pull students afterwards and say, hey, I noticed that you put that you are interested in military. What branch of military are you interested in? And that starts the conversation of getting them in front of those people that they need to meet in order to learn more about that career pathway.
Mhm. And a lot of these are pretty self-explanatory. The business and industry tours, we allow students to sign up. For example, Hago Automotive in Iuka, Mississippi has a really good apprenticeship program. So if students are interested in tool and die, industrial maintenance, logistics, stuff like that, we let them sign up, and then we take them, or we meet them at Hago and allow them to tour the business. They get to meet the CEO a lot of the time, the HR representative. It's really awesome. FAFSA Day is a day that we all try to host, where we hold just that day where students can bring in their information to apply for their financial aid. They sign up for specific times. Sometimes their parents will meet us there. Sometimes we'll do it over the phone. Job shadowing, again, students just go in and shadow within different careers that they're most interested in. Our biggest champion this past year has been Magnolia. They've opened up since COVID. And so we've had students in the surgical room. We've had students watch, they've been in labor and delivery. I had a student get to watch a baby be born a couple of weeks ago, and it's been really awesome.
Knee replacements.
Yeah,
Yes.
lots of knee replacements, actually.
Yeah.
I've had
One
a
of the
lot.
coolest things that we've done, we started last spring, is Future
Yes.
Forward Academy. Some of these are kind of self-explanatory, and for sake of time, we'll move on.
Yeah,
But
definitely
Future
cover this
Forward
one.
Academy was one that we started with our 8th graders last year, and people from the community come in, and we work together to provide opportunities. We selected 12 eighth graders from each school in the county. So we had about 50 students there. And we talked to them about how to have an appropriate handshake, a firm handshake, what not to do in a job interview. And so they had mock interviews where actual people from the community interviewed them. We had real life scenarios as far as communication skills are concerned. Students are stuck behind screens so much now that they don't know how to interact face to face. And so we had setups where they might be going into AT&T and they have a phone problem and they have to discuss what the problem is and how to get that fixed, or ordering fast food, or, you know, just anything. There were several different scenarios there. We had team building exercises. The kids were fed Chick-fil-A. They loved it. We had, what about 90, the feedback afterward, and Casey was great and made, you know, a little document that they could
Casey's
give
our
us.
Google form
Yes,
gal.
she's the Google, yes, the queen. But she made the form and the feedback was just phenomenal. They all said that they felt like they learned something that, you know, was worthwhile, that they could take with them. And so the cool thing is we had another one in the fall for this year's eighth graders, but on February 15th, we'll have a follow-up with last year's eighth graders, and we're going to add different skills. We'll teach them how to tie a tie and talk to them about resiliency, things like that. So it will be something that we try to follow them through their 12th grade year, you know, just add skills. So
Really quickly, can I, on Google Forms, and yes, I do love a good Google form. But for those coaches who are just now starting, I find it really, really useful to send out a Google form asking them name, grade, all of those questions that I was telling you about for the snack chat. If you wanted to do that on the front end, and then you can kind of separate that out according to what career pathway, and then maybe have a group mini session. I haven't done that. I just thought about it.
yes.
Yeah.
That would be
That's a good
fun.
idea. Yeah, that's awesome.
Tiffany, what about you?
I also want to chime in lastly as on the prepare piece for Get to College. I just want to give a shout out, and if nobody, if there's someone that does not use them, as far as with Shannon and Kirsten and all the other people that work there. My daughters, before I even started being a career coach, I had a daughter that was a junior here at Columbus High, and I attended a meeting. There was very few parents there, but when I say I had never even thought of my child even going to a community college, and thought of anything that as far as what she can, with her grades, she can get in Phi Theta Kappa, things that I had never heard of. Get to College put me on to all of that information. From that day on, I would say they are the best resource that you can have for any student that is needing to prepare to get to school at any given time. And I mean, with everything, with FAFSA, with the college applications, they break down everything with each one of the colleges in the state, each one of the community colleges in the state, and they give you so much information, and they help you with everything. And it's still unbelievable that it's all free. So that is a piece that I, as a parent, learned before I was even a career coach, and they have helped me, helped all of us throughout our career as well as career coaches. So if you are not using anything, please, from the booklets to everything that they have and everything they have online, as well as help prepare our students to get them ready for the workforce.
I was about to say that about the booklets. They
Yeah,
are
they're
just like
awesome.
second to none, and we use them in our CCR classes. And they're such a great planning tool for the students. It's great for the teachers too, but it's been wonderful.
Tiffany, I'm glad you brought that up, because obviously when we all first started as career coaches, I mean, it's a learning curve, and you're just trying to get to know your students, and you're just have students in your mind all day, every day. But I think it's very, very important to mention parents, because even though we're there with the students, it's kind of like they're great people. They're just not great at communication, and they really aren't. And and so I think that more parental contact, we have what's called school status that has helped me a tremendous amount to be able to reach out to parents about Get to College, about FAFSA, about holding the FAFSA day and all of that. But I think that even having more parent nights is going to be necessary.
Yes, and we've talked about that. We just have not went through that.
Right.
Okay, we'll get to that connect piece. I know we're getting there on time. So with Connect, again, the business and industries, our students get to meet the people that are frontline at Caterpillar, at Hago, at Kimberly-Clark, at all these places, the hospital. We also have something called Career Connections that again has been set up through the Create Foundation is I think who kind of got that rolling, but it's basically a bookit.com for business and industry. If we have a group of students that want to go on a tour of Toyota, for example, you can go online and register your school. There are different business and industries that are registered on there. You pick it, choose a date and a time, and you book your tour through that website. It's really awesome. Again, we have internships, whether it be paid or unpaid. We have partnered with the the WIOA Gateway program in the past. We have internships with local industries here. And the same thing with apprenticeships. We just we're very involved. Also, Tiffany's a member of her community liaison groups. And so
Yes.
we are actually on the, sorry. Well,
That's okay. That's okay.
we are also on the educational side of our the Commission of the Future of Alcorn County. So we're also hands-on. We're very involved with our business and industry people here in Alcorn County. So they kind of help us know what's going on. What are they looking for? Do they have internships open? Are they open to job shadowings? So that's been really great. So I highly encourage you new career coaches to kind of get out there and network with your business and industry, but also find your chamber people. We work very closely with the Alliance. They are actually who help sponsor our Future Forward Academy and help us get all these really awesome people on board to participate in that. And then again, college campus visits. We all do the Northeast now and we take different college campus visits, but it's really awesome when I can take a small group that's interested in health sciences to Northeast or ICC or somewhere. And they really get to focus in. They're not so rushed as if it were an event. They get to meet the counselors, the instructors. They get to go in and kind of get their hands on in the dental assisting program. And that's been really awesome. And we're just able to connect them with those people there. So once they get there in August, they don't feel so alone and so lost. They know faces and people that were on that tour. And that's really been very beneficial when they come in the fall or go in the fall. Okay, I guess we'll go to employ the 3 E's. So the ultimate, it may not be on there. It may be, I don't remember, but anyways, enlist, employ, enlist, enroll, employ.
Yes.
So we do prepare, expose, prepare, connect. And our results that we're looking for is the 3 E's, the enlist, enroll, employ. Because all in all, we want our students to just get their foot in the door. You know, not all students are going to go straight to college. There's nothing wrong with that, but we're going to help them find a job, whether that be in the community or get a trade skill or something like that. And so it's still a win, you know. So if our students not going to a 4-year college, they're not going to a 2-year college, but they're going to a 6-week welding program, that's a huge win because more than likely they're still going to come out making more money than us. So, but we want them to be able to have that family sustaining wage to contribute to society and to learn that skilled trade or to, you know, go to work, whatnot. So,
And it may be that college is in their
Yeah.
future, but it's just not now. It's just not straight to college. I
Mhm.
went back several years later. But it, you know, you can either go straight to college, you can go to work, and maybe they can, you know, several places of business now have ways to help you get through college if you want to do that. They have programs for that. Or if you want to go straight into the military and go through college that way, it's free.
Yeah.
Hello. So
rankings. One thing I did want to share, and we can put that in the chat, is we have social media accounts that we share job fairs, and we share tours and internships and apprenticeships, stuff like that. And job openings. We have people call us every day needing workers, and it may not be a student that can go to work. It may be a parent. We're here to help everyone. So we do have Facebook, Twitter, not all of us have everything, but Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where we share this information, and LinkedIn. So we can put that in the chat or send that to y'all to send out. So if you want to follow us and kind of see the different things that we have going on. I'm trying to remember how to do.
There are a few questions while y'all do that. The first one is, that someone has done the presentation to the 10th graders about ITP Career Expo. They don't have access to the monthly report that was mentioned. How would they get access to that?
So Stuart McMillan at the Create Foundation is who typically gets that together. I know at one time they were trying to send that out to the schools, but I don't know if the schools have gotten that piece. But Stuart McMillan at the Create Foundation is typically who runs that report. And I'll see about sending it
I
out
don't know
to
if it's
all
being sent to administration or not. I haven't looked
At one
closely
time
at
it used to be, but I don't know about this
They
year.
can also, well, I was trying to find her, it's her email address. We can type that in the box. I just found it. So we'll
Mhm.
include that.
Yes, once I figure out how to do that.
Mhm.
And the next question is, what is the website that you all mentioned that can be used to register for industry tours?
Career
Career
connections.
Connections.
But you have to go through the ITP site, I believe, to get there, right?
Do you?
I'm asking.
We used to have a QR code. Do we still have that? Does it work? We had a QR code and I know at some point, I think it quit working.
They
Okay.
can go to the Create Foundation
yeah.
website and they will have information on that as well.
Awesome. And then the last question that we have is, someone would like to learn more about how to help students find and apply for internships. They're in Lowndes County and have only learned that internships are available for students once they've enrolled at East Mississippi Community College in a career and tech program.
If I can say right now, what I am familiar with, something that I'm running into, where I will go to my Create meetings and hear of all these internships, apprenticeships that's going on in up north, further north Mississippi. And here in the area, it's like we are kind of stuck. But what I'm finding out in our area right now is that it's kind of like an age thing. Right now, you have to be 18 for them to do the internships. They are several of the business and industries and areas are working on trying to see what they can do as far as getting someone under that age, but I think it's an insurance issue. So I don't know if it's just a word that they haven't gone through that North Mississippi that is aware of, but I know that's a lot of the places that I visited. They are looking at the interns they have, of course, are 18 and above, or either they're enrolled at EMCC. But we are in need of, if someone has that push or has someone that we can know who we can talk to see how we can get more internships in the Lowndes County area for our students that are between at least 16 and 18 before they get 18. But I know that's something that they are running into. Under 18 is an insurance issue. So they're in the process of trying to pretty much figure it out.
All right, that's very helpful to know. I know that all of our participants have found this to be very helpful. Shannon, I'll throw it back to you to wrap us up with today's webinar.
Hold on one second, let me get to our next slide there. We skipped that video for time's sake, but we will send that out so y'all be able to see that later. So just in wrapping up, it looks like we lost our presenters, but maybe they're coming back. But just in wrap up, we wanted to tell you all, thank you very much. I believe we have answered all the questions that were in the chat, but thank y'all very much, ladies, for being here. I know that everyone found this presentation very helpful as we work to support all of our students on this journey to both college and career. We will email everyone a recording of this webinar in the next couple of days, and we will also post it on the YouTube channel with all of the resources that they shared with y'all. We would appreciate it if you would complete the short survey that will automatically pop up at the end of the meeting. If you would fill that out and give us feedback on today's webinar so that we can keep improving. We have 4 more webinars scheduled over the semester. You can see those listed here. Our next one will be Tuesday, February the 7th, where we will be talking about supporting marginalized students in college. We will continue this webinar series throughout the spring. If you participate in all 5 webinars for the spring, you'll have the opportunity to apply for 0.5 CEUs. And if you've participated In all 10 webinars over the fall and spring semesters, you'll have the opportunity to apply for one full CEU. You can register for these webinars on our Get to College website. They're listed under the Educator tab and then choose Professional Development. While you're there registering, please check out all the other resources that Tiffany and the others mentioned for your students that are listed on the Educator tab there. A few other things that are coming up. I know they mentioned a FAFSA day. If you have no idea how to complete a FAFSA or how to go about completing a FAFSA for your potential FAFSA days with your students, please join us this week, this Thursday, for our FAFSA training. It's virtual. Again, you can go to our website to sign up for that. This is our last virtual FAFSA training that we have for the semester. So we encourage you to do that. And then we'll also be having a college access training, which is also virtual in February. We also host, if there's any CCR teachers on this, we also host monthly CCR teacher chats, and you can see the dates there as well. So that is all that we have for today. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us on any of our sites, our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or directly through our website or by email. So thank you very much for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing everyone back in February. Thank you, ladies, for the great presentation. And
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Have a good day.
we'll see you all soon.
Bye-bye.